The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Oregon State Fire Marshal, on your new fire apparatus, job number 37272. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. We'll get started on a brief orientation of your new apparatus. Starting in the cutout of the front bumper, you'll find 2 closed tow hooks located on the right and left frame rail. Just inside that location in the center, you'll find 2 electronic siren PA speakers. On the outer edge, you'll find your headlight structure housing low and high beam headlights and marker turn indicator lights. Just inside that location, the grille, you'll find forward-facing emergency warning lights. As we move to the A pillar, it's where you'll find your mirror housing a flat and convex mirror. Moving up to the brow of the apparatus, there are 5 identification clearance lights. Further up onto the roof of the vehicle, you'll find a forward-facing floodlight. And up onto the very top, you'll find your emergency warning light bar. Located within inside the light bar is where you'll find your opticom. Let's take a look at some close-ups of those items we just talked about. First, your front tow hooks. Moving now into the PA speaker electronic siren. There are 2 located here. Into the front grille area, where you'll find forward-facing emergency warning lights. Headlight structure housing low and high beam headlights, marker turn indicator. Close up here of the grille emergency warning lights. And then we'll move up onto the roof next. Identify the forward-facing floodlight, emergency warning light bar, and opticom. On the side of the vehicle, you'll find your emergency warning light side-facing, part of the lower zone. Full view here of the cab area. Let's start first with the front axle, where you'll find Continental tires, Alcoa wheel. Now to the mirror, housing a flat and convex mirror controlled from within inside the driver's space. Let's move around to the inside section, where you'll find affixed to the door panel safety and warning placard information, latch, window controls, and also electric door locks. Close up here of the door lock, mirror control, and electric windows and electric door latch. As we move into the seat, you'll find comfort controls on both the left-hand side and front under location. On the dash area, you'll find this placard indicating the height of the vehicle, 7 feet 10 inches, length 34 feet 9 inches, gross vehicle weight rating 19,500 pounds. Moving just to the right of this location, you'll find this yellow placard located in the end of the steering wheel area. This placard houses information about your 5-digit job number, gross vehicle weight rating, cold tire inflation, VIN number, and all fluid and capacities for your vehicle. As we move to the left of the dash, you'll find your headlight switch. Moving to the right, you'll find your keyed ignition. Just underneath this location, you'll find an air filter minder. This is for the engine's air filter. And then just to the right of this location on the center console, it's where you'll find your master battery switch. Quarter turn, it's the silver switch on your right. There are also 12-volt access here, located barrel style and also USB. As we move to the upper portion of the dash, you'll find your regen switch, 4-way flashers, and traction control. Just below that, you'll find a diagnostic screen and radio module. Let's move just down from this location, where you'll find your trailer control for your electric trailer brakes. Just underneath this location is your activation for 2 high, 4 high, or 4 low for 4-wheel drive mode. Moving to the right, AM/FM radio. Further down, climate control, heat, air conditioning, and defrost. You'll also find 12-volt access via USB, and also USB-C, and 12-volt barrel style. As we move down to the center console area, I'd like to point out a few tally lights up at the very top section. One is an OK to idle, do not move your truck, door open, and low voltage. Just down from that location, you do have a map book light. It does have an activation switch on the light itself. You'll also find these red and white candy cane labels throughout the vehicle. These are indicating spare wiring. It does have the option number and purpose of that wire. As we move up to the very top, we'll take a look at some of those switches. Let's first start with the switch on the light for your map book, and then we'll cover those red and white candy cane labels indicating the type of wiring and the intent of that wiring. As we move to the switches, you'll find an emergency master, roof light, front warning, side warning, lower rear warning, and upper rear warning. Also siren, high idle, front scene, left scene, right scene, and perimeter lighting. As we move to the rear section, you'll find additional map book storage locations. As we move to the center overhead area where you normally see your rear view mirror, this is your backup camera monitoring system. Also at the ceiling level, you'll also find additional switches and lighting. As we move to the rear cab, you'll find warning and placard information on the door panel. There are 3 seats located across the bench seat in the rear. As we move to the exterior of the box, you'll find your shoreline inlet. This is a 20 amp auto eject plug. Quick view at the body here. We have 2 side-facing scene lights. At the very rear of the vehicle, you'll find a M6 emergency warning light. Also moving down, we have an additional storage location here behind the pan door for SCBA bottle storage. Fill locations, blue cap for DEF fill. As we move just to the rear of the axle, emergency warning light, part of the lower emergency warning lights. And then right next to that, you'll find the green cap is for your ultra low sulfur diesel fill location. Let's take a look at some close-ups, first starting with the side-facing scene lights at the very top of the vehicle, front and rear. As we look to the roll-up compartment doors, these are AM door. They are locking, and locking key is 1250. Moving into the compartments now, into the first roll-up compartment, you'll find 2 adjustable shelves and then a pull-out tray. On the vertical surface, you'll find 12-volt access via bus bar, and then also inverter shoreline access. When plugged into shoreline power, this will become active or active via your inverter. Inverter located on the upper rear wall. Close up here of the pull-out tray in the forward compartment. Dry deck material and LED lighting. Moving now to the exterior, where you'll find a pan door. Access for this is through the trigger latch. Once accessible, you'll find 4 SCBA bottle storage locations with retaining straps. Moving now just in front of the rear axle is where you'll find the DEF fill location. It's the blue cap. As we move to the over wheel compartment, adjustable shelf, LED lighting. On the very rear wall, you'll also find your shoreline inverter outlet. Moving now to just above the axle, where you'll find an emergency warning light, part of your lower emergency warning lights. And then just to the rear of that location is the ultra low sulfur diesel fill location, which is your green cap. Back up to the very top, you find side-facing scene and emergency warning light. Let's take a look at the rear compartment, where you have adjustable shelving. There are 2 located here, dry deck material and then also LED lighting. Moving to the rear axle, where you'll find at the very rear wheel a mud flap on both left and right side. Moving now to the rear of the apparatus, we'll identify a few items within this space. Let's start at the very top with your upper emergency warning lights. One on the left and one on the right side. Just down from this location is where you'll find your rear scene lights. We do have a few warning placards I'd like to point out. First, starting with a fall hazard warning. Always climb on or off the vehicle while facing the vehicle. Also, fall hazard, never ride on the vehicle while the vehicle is in motion. License plate bracket. We do also have some cupped switches in the very rear. This is for your rear scene lights. And then as we move through the brake and emergency lights, starting at the top, you'll find emergency warning, brake, turn, and reverse light. To the center below the bumper is where you'll find your trailer hitch and then also 12-volt access for your trailer. These are 2 different styles of pin for your trailer hitch, wiring for lighting. Here's a close-up of those. We have a 7-pin and 5-pin. There is a roll-up compartment door just above this location also. Unit identifier Hazmat 13. And then once again, regarding the keyed for the locks here in the back, these are all 1250 keyed locks. Roll-up door completely open, a large pull-out tray down in the lower portion. This is the release mechanism located here for locking the tray. As we move to the very top section above the roll-up compartment door, you'll find your backup camera, and then a couple highlights here of the emergency warning lights, and then also rear-facing scene lights. Then as we move down to the lower section, you'll find emergency brake, turn, and reverse light. Let's move around to the passenger side of the vehicle, full view of the box area. We'll start at the very top section, same configuration and layout. We have emergency warning lights, upper zone and lower zone. Also 2 side-facing scene lights, forward and rear. Let's take a close-up look at those lights. First, starting on the rear with the emergency warning light M6, and then also side-facing scene light. To the rear in the compartment, same configuration and layout, 2 adjustable shelves. We'd like to point out extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures do exist, especially during regen operations. Be cautious where you park your vehicle. Mud flaps to the rear. Lower zone emergency warning light. This is just over the rear axle. As we move into the over wheel compartment, adjustable shelf, and on that rear wall, you can see you have an outlet. This is shoreline power and then also inverter. Moving just forward of the rear axle, you'll find a pan door. Trigger latch gains you access into this space. There are 4 SCBA bottle storage locations with retaining straps and Durasurf material for protecting the SCBA bottles. In the forward section at the very top, side-facing scene light. As we move into the next compartment, this is the through compartment. We have the 2 adjustable shelves on the upper portion and the pull-out tray on the lower portion. Also inside this compartment, outlet here for shoreline power and inverted power. Close-up of the shelf. Release mechanism is going to be located on the lower right-hand side or forward position. Full view of the cab area, same configuration and layout as we have on the driver's side. Just one thing I wanted to mention here, we do have step lights here for the running board, and then just under the running board you have additional perimeter lighting at each of the exit locations for your operators. Full view of the vehicle once again. Congratulations, Oregon State Fire Marshal's Office, Salem Division, on your new Pierce Fire apparatus, job number 37372-01. If you have any questions regarding your vehicle, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.